Good evening, it's Tim again, and welcome back. This is going to be our second Blue Zone video, and basically I'm going to take you from where we were in the first video where we talked about setting this up, and now I want to talk about identifying the trade setups. As you can see, this is the Australian dollar 4-hour chart. We have an active Blue Zone trend. It looks very good. And there's actually a trade that was placed right here. I'm going to tell you right now, this was not a Blue Zone trade, although it really could have been. As you can see, it looks pretty perfect from my setup perspective. This was actually from my Helix system. And either way, if you would have gotten into this on the Blue Zone, let's just say that you got into it in the Blue Zone, your stop loss on this would have been 42 pips. And that trade is right now 467 pips to the good. Okay. And your stop loss would have been moved along too. So, okay. So, what we're doing, this Blue Zone trend started way back here. Okay. So, what we're doing is we're going to wait for price. Let me turn this off. We're going to wait for price to enter the Blue Zone. And the Blue Zone is this area right here between the 34 simple moving average and 55 simple moving average. So we don't get a whole lot of trades per pair, and that's okay. I don't mind missing trades that don't meet my rules. It's an error to enter a trade that doesn't meet your rules. So basically, this did not touch the 50. If I didn't enter the Blue Zone, I'm not going to take the trade. Never came near the 34. This dip did not come to the 34. This dip almost came to the 34, but not quite. So this one, now as you can see, we missed all these, and that's okay. I don't mind missing them. These are the rules of my system. Here, price actually entered the 34, or it entered the Blue Zone. So I'm perfectly comfortable placing at the close of this candle, since we did enter the Blue Zone, I'm perfectly comfortable placing a market order. I can place a market order here, or I can wait for, if we're way down into the Blue Zone, we wait for it to exit, and then we'll enter on a 1, 2, 3. We'll get more into that later. For right now, we'll focus on the simple. We're in. The candle closes right here, so we can enter at market right here. Stop loss goes right here. It goes right here below the 55 moving average. Because remember, once we're through this, we're not interested in the trade anymore. Right now. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to stay in that trade, and we're going to stay in it until price hits the 55 moving average. So, at the end of each candle, if you're on the 4-hour, that means, you're going to have to trail this 55 simple moving average. Or you can get an EA that does this for you that'll just trail the 55 moving average, and I'll probably put something up available for you guys to download for that. To help you out with this, so you don't have to stare at the trading, stare at the charts. I can't stand staring at charts, and I wouldn't recommend anybody else do either. So we actually would have gotten out of this trade right here, the first time price touched the 55. Okay, so let's say what we had here. We entered here, and we had about a 47 pip stop loss, like we said earlier. And we actually made 150 pips or so on that trade. But then the nice thing here is we went down. We didn't end the Blue Zone trend. It's still active. Price had entered the Blue Zone. Price has a close inside the Blue Zone. That's important. And then we exit the Blue Zone. We can enter again now. We enter on that the candle close. We put a stop loss in of 62 or 68 pips in this case, and we go into this trade. Okay. Now I stay in these because I'm a trend follower, and I'll stay in these things until they're done or they meet my criteria. This one probably, I'm not sure it would have stopped out. I don't know. It just depends on what the moving average was at that time. Sometimes MetaTrader 4 messes with these a little bit later. I have a feeling I wouldn't have been out because I always go 5 or 10 pips below that. But I will tell you right now that I think you should just trail this moving average. Okay, so And once again, we've entered the blue zone here. So even if we did, let's say that we follow the rules absolutely strictly and we actually get out here because we stopped out. Well, we made some money on that. We made 64 pips, so we were about even on our stop loss. But now we have another exit of the blue zone, so we can enter the trade again. See, we've got a touch in the blue zone. We've actually come out here. We're very powerful. We didn't penetrate the blue zone down here, so we don't have a close inside. No big deal. We're in good shape here. Okay, so then we can enter again. In this case, we end up with, about a 50 or so pip stop loss. No big deal. We're looking at the 4-hour chart. And we are still in that trade today if we actually entered. Or if we would have made this trade, we're actually still in it because we have not yet oh yeah, there we go. I'm sorry. We are out of that trade. Okay, so where are we? We entered here. We had our 50 pip stop loss or so. And we didn't do all that great on this. We got 73 pips. But there are many different ways you can exit the system. Many different ways. The nice thing about this, on this one, we actually get to enter again right here. We entered the blue zone. We bounced out. This is too far from the blue zone for me because my stop loss on that would have been way too big for this system in this time frame. So I probably would have placed my trade on the 34 moving average and wait for the 1, 2, 3. We'll talk more about that later. For now, I would not have been able to get in that trade. As you can see, this candle never touched the 34 moving average, and I would have lost this move, and that's fine. Okay, and we will talk more about the advanced entries and exits in Blue Zone in the next video. Thank you.